Dean here. Welcome back for the first time to the Spiral Convergence YouTube channel. My name is Dean Andrew Durhack, and on my channel, I'm exploring what I've been calling the Spiral Convergence Hypothesis. And it's actually a lot of fun. Actually, I wish it was a lot of fun. But things get really kind of weird. Things get really weird when I'm exploring this Spiral Convergence Hypothesis. So what is it? Well, number one, it seems to be a convergence of like-minded people. This started happening to me back in January of 2025. I noticed that like-minded people started to actually find me and started to connect with me. And I also started finding like-minded people as well. I've gone years, decades not being able to share some of my ideas and also get understanding from others that share the same vocabulary with me. I'm not looking for people who have my same experiences, but I am very interested in like-minded people where I share a common vocabulary. Words like the source of all, synchronicities, um, compassion. There's a lot of common vocabulary terms that makes me like-minded to a lot of the people that have found me in the last 18 months. So that's the first part. The second part is there seems to be a growing convergence of ideas that I have had and other people have had throughout their entire lives, right? Maybe this is the case for you. Maybe you've had experiences in childhood. You've read books when you were a teenager, an adolescent. Um, you know, you you've had your own journey, and a lot of things have happened to you, and you've learned a lot of things, but they didn't necessarily always make sense. It's like these puzzle pieces that have come into your life through ideas, through experiences, and they just didn't connect. They didn't make a lot of sense. And now, over the last 18 months, it seems like those ideas are starting to converge. Books I read 30 years ago, suddenly they actually fit with other things that I've learned, and new information is coming to me and new ideas, and it's starting to converge and make sense and become some kind of a coherent model. And that's the operative word here, is coherence. It actually not only makes sense, but it's coherent, right? It's self-consistent, and it seems to be validated and coherent to the external reality around us. So that's number two. And then number three, what seems to bind those two together is a dramatic increase in meaningful coincidences in our lives. Now, what I mean by meaningful coincidences are things that happen, that actually happen to you, that and when they're happening, you might even notice it when it's happening or after the fact. It's something that seems very, very, very unlikely, very, very unlikely, very, very improbable of happening, and yet it did happen or it is happening. And at the same time, it's very, very meaningful to you personally. So you find high meaning, and it's a very unlikely coincidence. And when those two things seem to converge together, right? High personal meaning, especially high symbolic meaning, and highly improbable actual event or events, then that's a meaningful coincidence. And those seem to be on the rise in people's lives, especially a lot of the people that have reached out to me since I've started talking about the Spiral Convergence podcast. And this channel back in January is when I started the Spiral Convergence podcast, where I'm doing interviews with people who are like-minded, who seem to share some of these experiences and some of these ideas. And so this YouTube channel is it's basically an experiment in what I think the spiral convergence might mean, and I'm trying to get a handle on what it could potentially mean to other people. And so you'll see that podcast. I have a lot of interviews around those topics. The other podcast that I have is basically it's kind of like Walkabouts, where I just do these monologues where I will just walk around my neighborhood, walk around a lake, walk around the park, and I will just ramble on about some topic that is important to me or something that's happened and I've learned, and I just want to share that. And it's basically these boring monologues that go on from 1 to 2 hours. So that's another aspect of the Spiral Convergence YouTube channel. I also have playlists on here. Music to me is very, very important. It's the heart of my life. I love listening to music. I love putting playlists together. I love sharing music. I love learning about music. There's so much beauty in music. There's so many aspects to it. It never gets old. There's always something new to explore, new music genres, uh, meanings, lyrics, symbolics. And I love how YouTube lets me put together these playlists, and they're basically music videos. So I've got a lot of those playlists on my channel. I'm going to talk in another video a little bit more about, my methodology behind those playlists. But if you start watching them and listening to them, I highly recommend that you always click shuffle. When you first start the playlist, shuffle the playlist, okay? When I put those songs in there, they're not in any specific intended order. So please shuffle that playlist and see what happens. And I have an Easter egg, and most of those playlists have an Easter egg. And it's a song called Behind the Waterfall. And I've put a couple of versions of that in those playlists. And so when you shuffle the playlist and you're listening, at some point you'll hit one of those Behind the Waterfall songs. Listen to the end and then stop listening to the playlist. That's where you end it. So the idea is that whenever you're listening to my playlist, when that song comes on, just ponder what you've experienced and then do something else. Listen to another playlist, get on with your life, whatever, right? So that's one other thing you can enjoy on the YouTube channel here. The other thing that I'm developing on this YouTube channel is my hashtag 500 lone wolves 500 lone wolves um, project. And you're going to see more of that in the future. So that's the YouTube channel. Of all of those things, the most important one to me and for you is the convergence of like-minded people. That's the most important part of this. If the only thing you get away from my channel is a convergence of like-minded people, then you've hit the gold. Okay, that's the gold on my YouTube channel, is the convergence of like-minded people. Okay, and that requires your participation if you really want to experience this for yourself. I've been overjoyed by seeing how many people have left comments on my videos, and other people have made comments, and then they've actually connected with each other in the real world. People have become friends because they found my YouTube channel and they commented on my videos, or they go out to Reddit and they communicate and contact with each other there. A really good example of that is Hecate, who's a good friend of mine in Los Angeles. We are cooperating on a nonverbal human telepathy experiment on my YouTube channel right now. And she's made contact with several people because of the videos that she's been doing with me. So I really encourage you to engage with the content on your own pace and comment with the intention of having other people comment, and so that you can basically connect, right? You can find and connect with other like-minded people. So that's my greatest goal for the YouTube channel right now, is that you can find each other and you can share ideas, and that requires you to actually participate. So I invite you to do that. I also invite everyone who's watching this right now, please create your own YouTube channel. Do the same thing I've done. It's easy to do. You've got it on your phone. Create a playlist, check the box for podcast, and just start speaking your truth to power. Start speaking your voice, and just let the YouTube universe, that is now a global audience of over 2 billion people, I think it's up to 3 billion now, trust the algorithms of YouTube and send these YouTube videos as messages in bottles to the future. You never know what impact your videos are going to have when you do them and when you post them. So I encourage you, please create your own videos and share your own ideas and speak your own truth to power. So thank you. And if you've got any questions, you can post them in the comments below. And if you'd like to connect with other like-minded people, you can also comment below and reply to other people in the comments below. So thank you so much, and the ripeness is all.